Hello and welcome to the first good gameplay I've had in ages. Now, I never knew how difficult it would be to get used to a new television. But for a few years, I played my games on a standard definition TV. It's about the size of a microwave, it's tiny. And since I got this HD PVR, I've had to move my gaming setup downstairs so I can play on the HD TV, which is completely different dimensions and size and obviously resolution. And it's just so difficult to play games to any sort of decent standard. I didn't know how much it would affect my gameplay, and it really has. So, for example, I've struggled with aiming so much, especially at long range. It's like playing without auto-aim. And also movement. I feel sluggish, and just looking around feels weird, and I keep finding I'm walking into walls and doing dumb stuff like that. It's quite embarrassing, really. I mean, I've had games like 2 and 13, 0 and 7, 1 and 6. I feel quite handicapped in every gunfight, really. It's like wearing beer goggles and just stumbling around. It just feels so unnatural. It'd be really interesting to hear from other people to see, how well they've coped with new TVs. Is it a struggle, or have you coped with it really easily? Has it been an easy transition? I mean, how long does it take? How many games, how many hours does it take to get to the standard that you once had? I mean, for me personally, it feels like I've lost something. Not an old friend, but it feels like I've lost a skill. COD was something I was half good at. Not to the standard of most people on YouTube, but I was better than average, definitely. And getting games like I have been getting, it's just annoying. But thankfully, yesterday I had a few good games on COD 4. I know that's not too difficult now, because in COD 4 these days it's just... it's either, the super casual players who maybe haven't played COD before or very much, and then you've got the quickscopers who try and quickscope you from 1,000 feet away. It makes it a little bit easier if you're wielding an assault rifle, but all the same, it's nice not to be getting these horrible games anymore. I mean, 2 and 13, it's just not worth putting on YouTube. You'll just get trolled and hated on. Nevertheless, I think the expected standard of an acceptable gameplay has changed over the years. I mean, think back in the day when there was nothing but gameplay, say, I don't know, 2008 perhaps, and you would just get a Halo 3 game or a COD 4 game, and there's no commentary over the top, it'd just be the gameplay, and that was all the YouTubers had to pull in the viewers with. That was the only attraction of the video. So I think back then perhaps the standard overall was quite a bit higher. I think nowadays there's more focus on what you say rather than what you play. So maybe you can get away with an average gameplay. Even so, I don't really want to be uploading half-assed campfests, which some of my games tend to be. So just recently I've been trying to play a bit more intelligently, this is the way I used to play. When I played on a regular basis, which I don't anymore. I find it's best to limit your encounters with the enemy, because I'm not the Mark of J. I don't have the best aiming, map awareness or reflexes or anything. I can't afford to jump into every battle that's going on. So I find it's best to limit my exposure to the enemy and learn the art of not being seen. What I usually do is kind of creep around the edge of the map, so I'm constantly moving if I can, because camping on the spot, you don't learn anything by doing that, and it doesn't lead to an exciting game, nor do you actually get many kills. So as I'm moving around the map, I like to move from cover to cover, and always pre-aiming around the corners, just to limit the number of occasions where I've got a guy looking at me with the opportunity to shoot me, and I haven't got the same back. Okay, it's not the most effective way of getting lots of kills. If I wanted to do that, I would just go on some sort of unrelenting charge across the map. But I find that if I do that, I don't really learn. If I play more intelligently, and perhaps a little over-defensively, I find that over time I can sort of improve my skills in all areas. If you are a casual player who wants to improve, don't be afraid to run away or dive behind cover. I mean, diving behind cover is quite a skill in Call of Duty. You have to learn to pick the encounters that you stay in or the ones you run away from. You need to build the reflexes in terms of immediately finding somewhere on the map that's close by to hide behind. Don't be afraid to do this. Don't be afraid to be a little over defensive. It all helps to survive, and the more you do it, the more you'll learn when to take risks and when not to. I mean, the more you bring defensive maneuvers into your game, the better you'll become at knowing whether to take a risk or whether to run away, when to push forward and when to hold back. You know, it just takes a bit of experience. So start off being a bit over defensive, just take it easy, take it slow, and then you'll soon learn when are the good times to be aggressive and when are the good times not to be. There's a classic example in this game where I see lots of red dots in the radar and I just panic. I go and dive into the marketplace and start shooting blindly. In that situation, perhaps it would have been best if I held back, perhaps hid in the corner for a second and shot the guy as he went past, and then moved on again. It just comes from experience. I mean, people like Bendro, Cnanas, Markov J, they know what they're doing. They can afford to be aggressive because they've developed the skills over time. They know when is the right time to push forward, which is something they do quite a lot because they have the ability to do that. They can read the situation at any given time. Now, as I'm relearning the ropes as it is with the new TV, I find it's not a good idea to try and mimic the most aggressive players who get these amazing scores like 110 to 3 or whatever. I think a good commentator to try and learn from is Wings of Redemption. I think he's a little over defensive, but it helps him to survive long periods of time without showing, epic accuracy / reflexes that some of the other players do. I mean, I know he's an amazing player, but he chooses to be more defensive, and that's a sensible way of playing, I think. So yeah, I've had a lot of fun on COD 4 recently. I've had some good games for a change. And COD 4's changed quite a lot since I last went there. Obviously, there's been a few hacked lobbies. There's the old no-clip glitch where you get some guy modding his way to the ceiling or roof of some building and cheating, basically. I can't stand that. And you see other lobbies where you got infinite ammo and ugh. For me, though, the biggest change I've seen in COD 4 is the number of people who use sniper rifles. I mean, it seems like since they've been put in isolation with all these new games coming out, the old COD 4 community has kind of evolved into a new species. I mean, they don't seem human when you play against them. It's almost like the old COD 4 players have been abducted and replaced by twitchy insect creatures. They can kill you with a sniper rifle within about a nanosecond of seeing you. It's just insane how good they are. They're scary to play against, trust me, and if they enjoy playing that way, fair play to them. I personally think that quickscoping should be not nerfed to death, but just make the scoping in a bit slower in future. Infinity Ward, other Call of Duty making people. So yeah, thanks for watching, and have a nice day.